It's widely recorded how much he and Robert Reed fought. That was, the only negative thing about the show, really.
How in the world do I get a boyfriend?
What if I told you this show almost never existed? The Brady Bunch is one of the most iconic television shows ever made. It has been in reruns for over 50 years. It launched spin-offs, movies, and merchandise worth millions. Generations of Americans grew up watching Mike, Carol, and those 6 kids figure out life together. But here is what most people never knew. This show almost died. Not once, not twice, at least 4 separate times the Brady Bunch was on the verge of disappearing forever. Networks rejected it for 5 years. Critics destroyed it on premiere night. The lead actor openly despised it, and executives actively tried to cancel it. Multiple times. So how did a show that everyone gave up on become an American institution? That is a survival story, and it starts in 1964.
Why should I be nervous? What makes you think I'm nervous?
It's the first time I ever saw you take 21 spoons of sugar.
Sherwood Schwartz was riding high in 1964. He had just created Gilligan's Island, and it was a massive hit. Networks should have been throwing money at him. They should have greenlit anything he wanted. But his next idea confused everyone. He wanted to make a show about a blended family. A widow with 3 daughters marries a widower with 3 sons. They become one big happy family.
Now, since I was casting the kids first, I wanted the blonde-haired mother, blonde girl, dark-haired father, dark-haired boys.
That was the whole concept. Network executives stared at him like he was crazy. In 1964, television was dominated by westerns, spy thrillers, and variety shows. Families on TV were traditional. Divorce was still taboo. Stepfamilies were seen as broken, not beautiful.
You have parents who have to show their new siblings that they love them just as much as their own.
Sherwood saw something different. He saw millions of American families that looked exactly like the Bradys. He just needed someone else to see it too. Nobody did.
Well, to tell the truth, I've got a few butterflies in my stomach.
How'd those butterflies get in your stomach?
Sherwood Schwartz pitched the Brady Bunch to every major network starting in 1964. CBS said no. They told him blended families were too controversial. Audiences would not accept it. NBC said no. They said the concept lacked conflict. Where was the drama? Where was the tension? A happy family learning to love each other was not entertainment.
But it was Sherwood's creation, and he had a very definite idea about what he wanted from the show.
ABC said no. At first. They had the same concerns as everyone else. Too soft, too simple, too unrealistic. For 5 years, Sherwood heard the same word over and over again. No, no, no. He could have given up. He could have moved on to something safer.
I don't want to do any stories that we could have done or have done. I want it to be more imaginative. I want this to be like the secret world of kids.
But Sherwood Schwartz believed in this idea with everything he had. And in 1968, something changed. ABC was desperate. They were in last place. They needed something different. They finally said yes.
Baby pink. That is what I call my cosmetics, because I am pink. You see the pink?
ABC agreed to make the Brady Bunch, but they did not make it easy. The budget had to be minimal. They were not going to spend big money on an experiment they expected to fail. The children had to be unknown actors, no established child stars with expensive contracts.
Jan, are you okay? I'm suffering.
Schwartz needed to find 6 kids who looked like they could be siblings, but who would work cheap.
So I didn't have to cast 6 kids. I had to cast 12 kids because I had to start that casting process before I got to the mother and father.
Production had to move fast. ABC wanted the show ready for the fall 1969 lineup. That gave Schwartz less than a year to cast, build sets, write scripts, and shoot episodes. These were not ideal conditions. These were survival conditions. But Sherwood Schwartz did not complain. After 5 years of rejection, he finally had his chance. He was not going to waste it. Now he just needed to find the perfect family.
How would you girls like to come along with us?
On your honeymoon?
That's right.
Oh boy, I've never been on a honeymoon.
Casting 6 children who looked like biological siblings, but were not related at all, seemed almost impossible. Sherwood Schwartz and his team auditioned over 400 children.
I had interviewed 464 kids. to arrive at those 12.
They needed the right look, the right chemistry, and the right personalities. Maureen McCormick came first. She was cast as Marcia, and her blonde hair and bright smile became the template. Every other child had to look like they could be her sibling. Barry Williams fought hard for the role of Greg. He auditioned multiple times before landing the part. Mike Lookinland had brown hair when he auditioned. Production made him dye it blonde so he would match the family.
You could have been hurt. I know. It's a good thing I had my good luck charm with me.
Susan Olsen had a natural lisp.
Hoping to distance myself from Brady Bunch and figuring that I really wasn't going to work again.
Some producers wanted it fixed. Sherwood thought it was adorable and kept it. Piece by piece, the Brady children came together. But the adults? That was a different challenge entirely.
I love you and I love Tiger too, but we are not taking a dog to a wedding.
Robert Reed was a classically trained actor. He had studied at Northwestern University and the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London. He had performed Shakespeare. He had starred in serious dramas like The Defenders. When he was offered the role of Mike Brady, he saw it as a temporary paycheck, a simple job to pay the bills until something better came along.
Mr. Brady! Don't worry, Mr. Pringle, we'll be back.
He never expected the Brady Bunch to last more than one season. He certainly never expected it to define his career. From the very first day of production, Robert Reed made his feelings clear. He thought the scripts were simplistic. He thought the situations were unrealistic. He thought the whole show was beneath his talents.
I called my secretary in and I said, new script coming out immediately, without Bob Reed. She said, how? I said, just take this down.
And unlike most actors who complain privately, Robert Reed put his complaints in writing. Detailed, lengthy, brutal writing.
One way to handle it. Attention!
Robert Reed did not just grumble on set. He wrote formal memos to Sherwood Schwartz explaining exactly why specific episodes insulted the intelligence of viewers. These memos were legendary. One episode featured the kids building an elaborate house of cards. Reed wrote a 3-page memo arguing that the physics were impossible and the whole premise was scientifically absurd.
Bob called me. He didn't ask for a change. He didn't ask for 6 new lines. He said he would not do that show.
He complained about the laugh track constantly. He felt it cheapened every scene. He hated any storyline that made Mike Brady look foolish. The father, in his view, should always be dignified and wise.
You forgot about the cat. Greg, put Tiger back in the car.
Oh, gee, Daddy.
Sherwood Schwartz read every single memo. Sometimes he made small changes. Most of the time, he ignored them completely. The tension between creator and star would simmer for all 5 seasons.
No, I'd have to go every so often. Bob, it's comedy. This is not Shakespeare.
It would eventually boil over in a way nobody expected. But first, the show had to survive premiere night.
What are you doing up at this hour?
Well, I figured you'd be back. I packed the boys' clothes last night.
September 26, 1969. The Brady Bunch finally reached American television screens. After 5 years of rejection and months of frantic production, Sherwood Schwartz watched his dream come to life.
The Brady Bunch, I know exactly where it came from. It came from an item in the LA Times. It was this big.
ABC scheduled the show for Friday night at 8 o'clock. The next morning, the results came in. The ratings were mediocre, not terrible, but nowhere near a hit. The Brady Bunch landed somewhere in the middle of the pack. Not impressive for a heavily promoted new series. But the ratings were not the real problem. The reviews were brutal. Critics called it saccharine nonsense. They said it was a step backward for television.
Please to sit down.
One reviewer predicted it would be forgotten by Thanksgiving. The consensus was clear. The Brady Bunch was disposable entertainment for nobody in particular. Inside ABC headquarters, executives started asking an uncomfortable question. Had they made a mistake?
Mike, so you decided to show up after all.
Henry.
The critical response to the Brady Bunch was almost universally negative. One prominent television critic called it impossibly wholesome to the point of nausea. Another said Sherwood Schwartz had created a show for no one. The harshest review came from a major newspaper that simply wrote, "This will not last." It offered nothing to adults and talked down to children. It was destined for the television graveyard.
The wedding's going to be lovely.
Well, wait till you and Mike get the bill, dear.
These were not minor publications. These were the voices that shaped public opinion about television in 1969. For viewers who were children at the time, none of this mattered. Kids did not read television critics. They watched what felt good.
Anytime I interact with a fan, it's almost exclusively a positive experience.
Sure. Yeah.
But for ABC executives deciding which shows to renew and which to cancel, critical reception mattered enormously. The Brady Bunch was now marked as a failure, and failures do not survive long in network television.
Charlie wants to know where you guys are. Oh my gosh, we almost forgot about that game. Hey, wait for me. Someone let me down.
By the end of the first season, ABC executives had seen enough. The ratings had not improved significantly. Critics continued to dismiss the show. The advertising revenue was disappointing. Internal discussions began about canceling the Brady Bunch before it could embarrass the network further. Sherwood Schwartz was told to prepare for the worst. His 5-year dream might end after just one season. The cast sensed something was wrong.
Writers don't know where their ideas come from. You know, they assimilate them someplace. They've been thinking about them.
Morale dropped. Robert Reed, who already disliked the show, seemed almost hopeful that cancellation would free him. But then something unexpected happened. ABC made a routine programming decision that would accidentally save the Brady Bunch. They put the show into afternoon reruns, standard practice for filling daytime slots with cheap content. Nobody expected anything significant to happen. What happened next shocked everyone at the network. The audience found the show.
What's the matter? That's my two-way stretch. I think it just went 3 ways.
When the Brady Bunch moved to afternoon time slots, something remarkable occurred. Children came home from school, turned on the television, and discovered the Bradys.
We all went back to public school. Yeah, which I don't think any kids today that are on TV shows would dare do that. But
not competing against adult dramas in prime time, but waiting for them at 4 o'clock when the afternoon belonged to kids. And they loved it. Unlike primetime viewers who might flip channels, these young viewers watched religiously. They talked about the show at school. They argued about which Brady was their favorite. Letters started arriving at ABC, not dozens, but hundreds. Children wrote about how much they loved the show. Parents wrote about how it was the one program the whole family could watch together. The ratings for afternoon reruns started climbing. ABC executives noticed something they had not expected. The Brady Bunch was not dying, it was growing.
Wow, I just found something out.
What? What is it?
Everything's much bigger.
The Brady Bunch offered something that almost no other show provided in 1969. It showed a blended family that worked. For millions of American children living through their parents' divorces or adjusting to step-siblings, the Bradys were proof that families could come back together, that new brothers and sisters could become real brothers and sisters, that love was not limited by biology.
Is stories. Now you have a wealth of new stories. It's not just one kid jealous of the other kid.
The show never lectured, it never preached. It simply showed a family solving problems together and laughing together and supporting each other. Every episode ended with resolution. Every conflict found a solution. In a world that felt increasingly chaotic, Vietnam, assassinations, social upheaval, the Brady household was safe. Critics called this unrealistic. Children called it exactly what they needed. And slowly, week by week, the audience that ABC had written off became the audience that saved the show.
And I know just where they'll go. Here and here. Alice is a member of the hip generation.
The network faced an unusual situation. The Brady Bunch was not a critical success. It was not winning its time slot. It was not generating prestigious awards or industry buzz. But it was building a loyal audience that would not go away. ABC pulled back the cancellation order. The show was renewed for a second season, then a third season, then a fourth, then a fifth. Each year, the same pattern repeated. Critics dismissed it, executives questioned it, but the audience kept growing. The Brady Bunch became what television insiders call a steady performer. Not a blockbuster, but reliable, consistent, profitable enough to justify its existence. Sherwood Schwartz had proven every network executive wrong.
So I said to Paramount, this is not going to work, and I need comedy in the kitchen. I need a funny housekeeper. And they said, like who? I said, like Amby Davis.
The show they rejected for 5 years was now a fixture on American television. But behind the scenes, problems were getting worse.
That's enough.
As the Brady Bunch became more successful, Robert Reed became more miserable. He had expected the show to fail quickly. Instead, it kept getting renewed. Each season meant another year of playing Mike Brady, a role he considered far beneath his abilities. His memos to Sherwood Schwartz became longer and more frequent. He challenged scripts constantly. He argued with directors about blocking and dialogue. The rest of the cast learned to work around his moods. They adored him personally. He was generous and protective with the child actors, but they knew to avoid him when he was frustrated about the writing. Florence Henderson, who played Carol Brady, later described the atmosphere as tense but professional.
It's almost like a fairy tale in a way, but it holds up because I think it was so truthful.
Everyone knew Robert was unhappy. Everyone hoped he would make peace with the show. He never did, and eventually, his frustration reached a breaking point.
Create whatever you wish.
But make it pink.
The series finale of The Brady Bunch was called The Harebrained Scheme. The plot involved Bobby and Cindy selling hair tonic that accidentally turned Greg's hair orange. It was exactly the kind of silly storyline that Robert Reed despised. When he read the script, he refused to appear in it. This was not just complaining, this was a total boycott.
I just tell Bob he doesn't have to report for work. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Exactly what I say. He's not in the show."
Robert Reed told production he would not film a single scene for the final episode. Sherwood Schwartz faced an impossible choice: rewrite the entire finale or shoot it without Mike Brady. He chose to shoot without Mike Brady. The final episode of The Brady Bunch does not include the father. The character is simply absent, never explained, never mentioned. For 5 seasons, Robert Reed had fought the show he starred in. In the end, he won that battle, but he lost something else.
Oh, sexy brunette. It says this is a good time to adopt a pet.
On March 8, 1974, The Brady Bunch aired its final episode. After 117 episodes and 5 seasons, the story of the blended family at 4222 Clinton Way came to an end. For the 6 actors who had played the Brady children, this was devastating. They had literally grown up on that set. Their childhood friendships were real. Their bond felt like actual family. Susan Olsen, who played Cindy, later said that the cancellation felt like losing her home. Barry Williams described the final day of shooting as emotional and disorienting. The only life he had known as a teenager was suddenly over. Florence Henderson comforted the kids as best she could. She told them this was not goodbye. They would always be the Bradys. Robert Reed was relieved. He could finally pursue serious work again. At least, that was the plan. Why was the Brady Bunch actually canceled? Here is the surprising truth about why the Brady Bunch ended. It was not canceled because of bad ratings. By season 5, the show had a stable, loyal audience. The numbers were not spectacular, but they were consistent. The problem was demographics. The Brady Bunch audience skewed young, very young. Children loved the show, but children do not buy cars or refrigerators or insurance policies. Advertisers wanted adult viewers with disposable income. The Brady Bunch delivered kids who wanted cereal and toys. ABC made a business decision. The show was profitable, but not profitable enough. The audience was loyal, but not valuable enough. The Brady Bunch was canceled not because it failed, but because it succeeded with the wrong audience. The critics had been waiting 5 years to write the obituary. It seemed like they would finally get their chance.
Henry?
I was just testing, dear.
After cancellation, the Brady Bunch entered syndication. This was standard practice in television. Old shows were sold to local stations to fill afternoon and late night time slots. It was a way to squeeze a little more profit from content that had already served its purpose. Nobody expected anything remarkable to happen, but something remarkable happened. Local stations across America started airing the Brady Bunch at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the same time slot where it had first found its audience during those early rerun experiments. Children who had never seen the original run discovered the Bradys for the first time, and the ratings exploded. By 1977, the Brady Bunch was reaching more viewers in syndication than it ever had during its original primetime run. The show that everyone had written off refused to die.
Well, you did ask for the honeymoon suite.
Pringle, you see.
It's all right,
he and
darling. No need to explain. It's obvious this gentleman doesn't dig the modern generation.
The success of the Brady Bunch in syndication defied every rule of television. Shows were supposed to fade away after cancellation. They were supposed to become nostalgic footnotes, remembered fondly, but rarely watched. The Brady Bunch did the opposite. Every year, a new generation of children discovered the show. They fell in love with the same characters, the same storylines, the same comforting formula that had captured audiences in 1969. Parents who had watched as kids now watched with their own children. The Brady Bunch became something almost unique in television history, a show that passed from generation to generation like a family tradition. By the 1980s, it was no longer just a sitcom. It was a cultural touchstone. References appeared in other shows. Comedians built routines around Brady moments. The theme song became instantly recognizable to almost every American. The critics had been spectacularly wrong.
You have such a talented husband, darling.
Maybe I've been working all week on that powder puff design.
But this is much better.
Television historians have tried to explain why the Brady Bunch endured when so many other shows disappeared. The answer is simpler than most experts admit. The Brady Bunch offered comfort. In a world that felt increasingly complicated, economic uncertainty, political division, social change, the Bradys remained constant. Their problems were manageable. Their solutions were achievable. Their love for each other was unconditional. Viewers did not watch for sophisticated plotting or edgy humor. They watched because 30 minutes with the Bradys felt like visiting a family that always welcomed you. This was exactly what Sherwood Schwartz intended from the beginning. He understood that entertainment does not always need to challenge. Sometimes it needs to reassure. The network spent 5 years telling him he was wrong. 50 years of success proved he was right.
Were you expecting a totem pole with no card attached?
In this family, who knows what to expect?
Robert Reed spent years trying to escape the Brady Bunch. After cancellation, he pursued the serious dramatic roles he had always wanted. He appeared in acclaimed television movies. He guest starred on prestigious programs. But no matter what he did, audiences remembered him as Mike Brady. The role he had despised became the role that defined him. In his later years, something unexpected happened. Robert Reed began making peace with the show. He appeared in Brady Bunch reunion specials. He reconnected with his television family. The children he had protected on set were now adults who still adored him. When Robert Reed passed away in 1992, his former castmates mourned him genuinely. They did not remember the difficult actor who wrote angry memos. They remembered the man who had been, despite everything, their television father. And in his dressing room, they found a photograph of the entire Brady cast.
Why don't you go get the rest of the kids, because I have a surprise here for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Greg, Marcia, Jan, Molly, Cindy!
The 6 actors who played the Brady children never stopped being family. Decades after the show ended, they continued to appear together at reunions and conventions. They celebrated birthdays together. They supported each other through personal struggles. Barry Williams wrote a memoir about his experiences on the show. Maureen McCormick opened up about her own challenges growing up in the spotlight. When Florence Henderson passed away in 2016, all 6 Brady kids released statements mourning the woman they still called their television mother. When Ann B. Davis, the beloved Alice, passed in 2014, the family gathered to honor her memory. These were not publicity appearances. These were genuine relationships forged during childhood and maintained across lifetimes. The Brady Bunch created a fictional family that became real. That might be the most remarkable legacy of all.
This is what we wanted. A nice, quiet wedding.
The house used for exterior shots of the Brady residence sits at 11222 Dilling Street in North Hollywood, California. Every single day people visit. They take photographs standing on the sidewalk. They point at the windows and remember specific scenes. Parents explain the show to children who have never seen it. In 2018, HGTV purchased the house and renovated the interior to match the television set. The project generated massive public interest. A house from a show that was canceled 50 years ago still draws crowds. This is not nostalgia. This is something deeper. The Brady house represents something people desperately want to believe in. A home where everyone belongs, where problems get solved, where family means everything. That fantasy was powerful in 1969. It remains powerful today.
A strange woman will soon come into your life.
Oh, where does it say that?
Right
Where?
there.
Sherwood Schwartz passed away in 2011 at 94 years old. He lived long enough to see the Brady Bunch become exactly what he always believed it could be, a show that brought families together across generations. He had spent 5 years being told his idea was worthless. He had endured critical dismissal and network interference, and a lead actor who resented every episode. None of it stopped him. Sherwood proved something important about entertainment. The experts are not always right. The critics do not always see clearly. Sometimes the creator understands the audience better than anyone else. He wanted to make a show about a blended family learning to love each other. That is exactly what he made. 55 years later, that show is still teaching the same lesson. Family is not about biology. Family is about choice.
I believe you.
You do?
Sure. You'd have to be nuts to make up a story like that.
The Brady Bunch was rejected for 5 years before anyone would make it. Critics savaged it on premiere night and continued attacking it for the entire run. The network nearly canceled it after the first season. The lead actor fought against it from the first day to the last. And yet, the Brady Bunch outlived every obstacle placed in its path. It outlived the critics who dismissed it. It outlived the executives who doubted it. It even outlived the era that created it. Generations of Americans have grown up with the Bradys. They learned about step families and sibling rivalry and solving problems together. They learned that a household full of chaos could still be full of love. The show that almost died became immortal. That is not just a television story. That is the most Brady ending possible.
I'll be along in a minute to help, okay?
Oh, can't we stay here? Come on. The bride and groom want to talk privately.
Thank you, Miss Protocol.
If you grew up watching the Brady Bunch, you have a memory. Maybe it was rushing home from school to catch the afternoon reruns. Maybe it was sitting with your parents and siblings, everyone laughing at the same jokes. Maybe you remember the episode where Marcia got hit in the nose, or the creepy tiki idol from Hawaii, or Peter's voice cracking, or Jan complaining about always being compared to Marcia. Those memories belong to millions of people. I want to hear yours. Drop a comment and tell me your Brady Bunch story. What episode sticks with you? What character felt like family? And if you want more stories like this about the shows that raised us, the ones that almost disappeared, the history behind the television that shaped America, hit subscribe. There is a lot more to tell. Thanks for watching. Here is the story of a show that would not die.